things that I need to do here. Got to cut some grass. I'm going to expand the center growing area where all the wood chips are. And I've got some raspberry and blueberry plants I'm going to put down, along with I'm going to edge out some of my planting areas with comfrey roots, about another couple dozen of those. So we'll be doing that. Let me walk you around and kind of give you an overview of what I'm going to be doing. So here you can see I got to cut the grass on this property, and what I want to do is I want to extend this edge right here, this edge that goes right here. Let me hold on to this phone better. There we go. So I want to extend this edge further out, and one of the things that I've seen, it's hard to get a clean edge, so I'll just leave at least a path for the mower to go. But I think with the curve of it, I'm going to fill it in like this, and I'm just going to thicken this out and probably bring that way. So it'll still be kind of this similar shape, just a little bit more curve to it. I'll knock out some of the grass, so I won't have to mow as much. Before I do that, I'm going to actually mow, and then along the edge where I want the new edge to be, I'm just going to dig down. I'm going to plant those comfrey roots along the edge, and I'll probably continue around to putting more comfrey on the edge of this whole thing. Back here on one side, I'm going to plant 2 raspberry bushes and 2 blueberry bushes. It doesn't really matter which side I go to. I'm going to tuck them in the corner here. So we got if you can see here, the elderberry that's right here. I want to put the bushes as close to the wall and the front as possible. So one like right there, and then one right there. It'll be mirrored on the other side. But you can see that everything else is doing pretty well. It's been a week or 2, well, maybe 3 weeks since I planted all this stuff, and it's doing well. So everything but whatever that was, that I forget what it is, but I figured that was going to die back anyways, and it should re-sprout. Of course, we've got some other thistle and stuff that have been popping up, but that's just more stuff for me to cut down and add to the soil, which is perfectly fine with me. And you can see here, if you watch my planting mushrooms video, I haven't seen any of the mushrooms that I've planted or spores that I spread yet, but there's a type of mushroom right there. These look to be the same type, and then that's a different type up there. So just to show you that there is that mycelium network in this area. So, and I think since I have so many of those comfrey roots, I'm just gonna plant them everywhere I possibly can, just to make an edge and get more stuff growing here. I'll probably end up planting a few in the back too, maybe toward the front, and just kind of randomly. It just takes a single scoop, and I'll show you that real quick. I'm going to cut some grass, and I'll show you how quickly I'm going to plant these comfrey, and I'll get these other bushes in the ground. The grass is cut, and I'm going to get in here and plant some of these comfreys right along this edge here. Just got to decide where I want them. Now let's see if I can do this with one hand while shoveling. So if that's the edge right there, I just want to bring it over. So let's say I want to plant it right there. Now, because this is all grass, it's going to be covered up. Let me switch hands. Yeah, just see how dry that is. It's crazy. Alright. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to bury that. But like I was saying, because maybe if I do it upside down, that'll help it something from growing back as quickly. Something like that. But it's going to be covered with mulch. Yeah, from about here, it's going to swoop down. So, but it's nice because if I flip that over like that, that gives me a mark letting me know where they're planted, so I can fill in from there. So I'm just going to go along, plant them just like this, and then I'll get up here. I got a metal rake, just a regular standard metal rake, and I'll bring all this down and cover it up. The difference between this area, this has cardboard under it, so this mulch is going to be a lot thicker, so 8 inches at least. But I'm going to get that all filled in, and then all I'll have to mow is to the left of my hand here, something along those lines. But I'll get all that done, and then I'll show you the difference between planting into that grass and what I'm going to do for the rest of it that's already mulched. A bunch of them planted. Let me show you one. It's hard to see, it's sunny out. Yeah, we got one there, and every 2 feet, and they go like this all the way up. That makes sense. Let me run over to a sheet mulched area, that back part, and I'll show you how easy it is to, well, here. I'll just continue on here, but I'll plant into that mulch. So I'll just be moving away the mulch, or I might just stab my thing in, get down to dirt, expose some dirt, and just plop a root in. Move quite a bit of this wood chips out of the way. And I'm going to end up having 2 hands, but basically I'm going to stick this down, push it forward, and then I'm just going to drop one of the roots in. Just one of these roots, if you can see it. So I'll just move that shovel out of the way and pop it in. I planted about 10 of them, of the Comfrey roots, into there on that right side there. I figured I'd show you over here, because when the wood chips aren't as deep, it's a lot easier just to push it away. And this is basically what I did over there. Just move more wood chips first. Stick that, and then basically just push that down as you're raising this up. Now it's in soil, you just cover it back up, and that's it. Let's move on to some berries. And here are the 2 raspberries that I'm going to plant, just on this left side here. A note about whatever you're going to plant, usually make the hole up to 50% wider and about 50% deeper than the cup itself. Most of the dirt from here should go back into that hole, but it'll typically always be extra dirt that you've dug, or grass, or what have you. And you want to keep the same soil height. So for this is kind of settled, and the raspberries, so it's okay if they're buried a little bit deeper. Whatever suits your fancy. It's not a tree, it's a bush that will root from all these little spines. So then these are the Adaro blueberry, and a sunshine blueberry, if it focuses. So they look very healthy. These are from Stark Bros. I'm going to plant the 2 raspberries on the left side here, and then the 2 blueberries on the right. Then of course I still have an order for has caps that I'll put in here. Whether they go here or behind me in that center area, I'm not sure. But I wanted to get these in the ground. And I also, in that little egg carton, have a bunch of walking onions. So just like you saw me do with the comfrey roots, I'm just going to do the same thing and just randomly just plug them around. Nothing too scientific about it or planned, but I just want to keep these 2 separate. Those should be multiplying and take over this whole corner by the end of its life cycle, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe I can keep them growing over that way and everything else can grow, but I'm just trying to overplant and get as much as possible, and I'm not too worried about how it's going to be overgrown in 10 years. I'll have 10 years in between then to prune it how I want and to take cuttings off of all these things and move it around. So the biggest purpose, the point is, I had recorded a whole thing and I got to do it again, but I think I was talking about the point of planting all this stuff, not being too concerned about where exactly it is. I don't want to disturb any roots of anything that I've already planted. However, I'm not worried about overcrowding or planting too thickly. You know, as far as aesthetics, it's a pretty shallow area, and it's all sheet mulch, so I should be able to get to just about everything I want. And also, as these things grow, all these things can be, I can take cuttings off of and move them, and I can dig them up if I want to, but more than likely just take cuttings and move them wherever I want to do. But yeah, definitely just want to get as much food in the ground as possible during the summer months and heading into fall. I know it's only August, and I'll still be planting in September, probably all the way to October. Just depends on when these trees come. I ordered some plums, some peach and pear combos, things like that. I'm just relying on Stark Brothers, whatever, on their timing. I just order the things and then they send it out according to my zone when the best planting time for those, those trees are. So let me get all these in the ground. I'll get those onions, those walking onions. I have a pack of those, so I'll get those in the ground. And I'll just show you briefly what I've got going on today. I think I'm gonna do the planting, and I'm gonna save the hot raking of those wood chips for another morning. It's getting a little too hot out here for me, so I don't know if you can tell. I'm sweating pretty bad, but I want to get these plants in the ground, and I can deal with wood chips later. So give a note or say a note, whatever, about when you sheet mulch, that a lot of the areas in this little plot only have just a sprinkling of wood chips over the cardboard. That means that the cardboard hasn't really started trapping in moisture and breaking down. Subsequently, the dirt underneath isn't as moist as I would like it. It was more similar to a freshly mowed area. So I've had to kind of change my plan a little bit, just keeping in mind that I need to go through here and add, another 8,000 pounds of wood chips. But no, it's best to have like 3 inches, and a lot of these places I just have enough just to cover the cardboard. So I'll show you where I planted all of them. Alright, so you can see 1 and 2, there's little blueberry plants. And I got 1 raspberry. And then that right there straight ahead is the second raspberry. So these were all pretty moist spots, but I'd come to places like this. It's just no good. I mean, it's okay, but yeah, you need to have more than just a covering of wood chips. Like, for example, let's see how this is. Yep, so that's just a cover too. So I had to go around and find places that were moist, and the soil's actually prepared for it. So I'm gonna stop the recording here. I'm probably gonna throw a bunch of these walking onions in just randomly. A couple more of these comfrey roots, and just call it a day. You get hydrated and out of this sun. And I'll show you next time when I expand the wood chips right in front of me, behind you. I'll show you raking all that and having that covered to expand all that growing area. But anyways, thank you for watching, and click on one of these videos if you'd like to see more. And I'll see you next time. Thanks.